the boxes, Carly's boxes, in the last of the boxes, but I didn't manage to do them this weekend. And it's another lesson to me about how important it is to schedule things. I have said all my life, and I've been saying increasingly in the last few weeks, that failing to plan is planning to fail. Failing to plan is planning to fail. You cannot put a plan into action if you do not have one. So I had a goal. I had an idea of what I wanted to do. And then I had an idea that I'll do it sometime this weekend. Sometime didn't come because it was hard and it was difficult and yesterday, which is the day that I should have done it, right, because it was Sunday and it was the last day to do it, so I didn't get dressed all day. I stayed in my dressing gown all day. And you know why? Because I didn't do the first thing on my schedule, which is to meditate, to wake up in the morning, have a cup of chai, sit quietly and meditate. Well, first do the narwhal to find out the tone of the day and focus my brain. And it's lovely. I love their little talk things. They focus on community and the focus on interaction and the interaction between the sort of the spirit of the day and the flow of the water in the day. And they're general enough and yet specific enough to help me structure my thinking over each fortnight. So that's my morning routine. Wake up, do the dishes, and then do the narwhal, meditate, go for a walk. But yesterday, no, I didn't do that. Yesterday I got up, got a chai, went straight downstairs and edited until lunchtime, then quickly grabbed a cup of something to drink, and a sandwich, I think. No, crumpets. I ate crumpets for lunch. And then afternoon meeting, and then check in with the tasks that I was doing on the AI, do those, then dinner, and then it was night and I didn't go out and get the boxes. But if I had started by doing the meditation and doing all the things and making the list of what I could do for the day, then I could have quickly gone outside and got the boxes in. Back to the old habits. Also, it was Saturday. Well, actually yesterday was Sunday, since it's Monday today. Unless it's Sunday today, and no, it's Monday today. Anyway, so yeah, womble womble waffle. So the really important and significant thing is that failing to plan is planning to fail. I didn't make a plan for the day that included the boxes, so I failed to bring the boxes in. And it's not a big thing. I'm not beating myself up about being a failure, although I failed to do the task, and so essentially that was a failure. And I don't think that there is a mollycoddly way we can say it. I think when you fail at something, you've actually failed at it. It's like, go to school and get your participation points. I remember telling a student of mine once how she needed to submit her assignment, because if she submitted her assignment, if she didn't understand what she was doing, we could talk about it and we could go somewhere. But if she didn't submit her assignment, then, well, we couldn't even start. And she said, I meant to, miss. But my mother beat me with the Hoover cord, and then I couldn't think. So yeah, no points for her. And then about 6 weeks later, they withdrew her from school and sent her to some other place, which was no doubt her failure, not her mother's, obviously. Oh well. It's interesting, isn't it, how people are not isolated. Like, no man is an island. No man lives by his own effort alone. And if you do attempt to live by your own effort alone, people have to walk away from you because you isolate them. Oh me, oh my, here I am coming to the highway, and it looks like there's a massive queue here for me to get into the highway traffic, which means, will I be late to get to the, thank you, will I be late to get to the garage to get this thing done? Oh well, let's hope not. Let's hope we can let's hope we can get there on time, and this is just a snarl up from the roadworks. Right, we'll go through here. All right. Through without the boxes, but doing the car, and I seem to have lost the last of my medicines. I've got some patches, that you stick on your skin, it absorbs, and I had one left and I cannot find it. And the little box with everything there, and it's just evaporated. So after this, I'm going to unfortunately have to go through to Tauranga and get the medicine there, which means it's going to be another hour and a half's drive, and today is just going to be running around. But that's okay, that's what the daylight hours are for, and we'll get on and do things. So, I've been rushing around all day and feeling the regret of not doing the other stuff, and I am just going to quickly check in. Today so far, I have done the morning meditation, taken a video of the sunrise while I meditated, or rather watched the sunrise as a meditation. Gosh, it's getting cold. I was thinking I might need to get out my snow trousers and put them on in the mornings. Whew, it was cold standing still in the middle of the road recording the sunrise. But it's beautiful and lovely, and listening to the birds. I did that. Reg came with me on the walk, so that was fun. And then when I came back, because it was cold and miserable, and my phone failed, my battery went flat as I was walking. So I really only got to walk down like 3 minutes to the turn in the road where I stood and watched the sunrise, and then it died while I was watching the sunrise. As I was coming to the end of watching the sunrise, the battery died, and so I walked away and I went for the rest of the walk, and the grass was so sodden and wet, that I really, honestly, I think if I had a 7-minute walk this morning, it was long. However, I did it. I got outside, I opened the door, I was in clothes, I had shoes on, I went for the walk, which I didn't do yesterday. But then, because of that, and because it didn't quite work out, I thought that on my way back, because it had been so short, I would carry the boxes in. very heaviest ones that I'd left for the end. So that was good exercise. That was about a half an hour of power lifting and carrying. So that's ready. And then once I did that, I uploaded the video of the sunrise, and I had some breakfast and another cup of chai. So yeah, I think that I'm starting to not have to think about this routine and not have to implement every part of the schedule, list of tasks that I needed to do. I'm able to start cycling through things automatically. And that is the theory, of course, but I didn't know that I was going to be able to do it. I am so proficient at thwarting both my own and other people's plans. However, it is working. It is working. The slow repetition. But the slow repetition isn't working on its own. It does need to have that incremental additions all the time, incremental improvements. So it's not enough just to take baby steps. You have to keep on adding baby steps to the baby steps you're taking. That's a good lesson. I'm sure there'll come to a time when I'm juggling enough balls. But at the moment, just trying to juggle 2 or 3 has been enough of a whew. Yeah. However, as I say, it's working. And here I am. I'm not quite on time. Am I? Yeah, no, I'm going to be late. I'm going to need to. Anyway, I'm going to need to just give him a ring and apologize. But I'll finish talking to you and then I will do that. So I'm not sure what to set as the rest of the goals for the day, because once I have taken the boxes in, I opened a couple of them so that I could quickly unpack them, put them in boxes, put them in the car, bring them with me, and on the top of the boxes were all her little soft toys, big anime eyes looking at me, all the little things that she'd had on her bed, and so I couldn't do it. But I didn't cry, and I will do it. I'm just not sure about today. Mind you, if I go and get the patches and then I feel normal again, maybe I will be strong enough to. Oh, blah, blah, blah. Boxes today, and I'm doing running around, and I'm going to need to go and get more medicine. The other town, the other direction. So this is going to be an hour's driving this way, and that's going to be an hour's driving that way. So I'm guessing to have a day doing admin. So I did some fantastic research this morning on Steal the Singularity, Prometheus rioting, and was very gratified to note that there wasn't anything that I didn't know. And I always think that I don't know anything, and that I read things and what's going on, and But I'm starting to realize that I do actually know what's going on. I just have some sort of psychological obfuscation that allows me to live in this dual reality where I present this image to the world in order to protect myself so that I don't what? The strange thing is that I think it's, I don't actually know what it is. When I was living in the relationship, when I was with him, and it was so hideous and he was so drunk all the time, he used to lash out at my children and hit them and all sorts of stuff. And it wasn't the hitting that was so bad. That was mostly threats and mostly directed at me. What it was the intimidation using violence. Like, I'll hit you so hard that you fly across the room and smash into the wall on the other side of the room and break every bone in your body. That was the thing that was terrifying to me, terrifying beyond terrifying. I didn't even know. And there was nothing that I could do. There was nothing that I could do. Once he trapped me into the situation, all the Mr. Nice Guy went away. And then I was stuck, and I had these kids to look after and to bring up, and the only thing that I could think of doing was to send them away, to send them to a place where they were safe. And so I sent them to my mother. And they've both got really good jobs, and they had an excellent education, and they're not short of money, and they're not living in poverty, and they're not dead. Anyway, yeah, so sorry for reminiscences. Always happens. But you know what? Your future is built on your past, and people who tell you to leave your past behind, I've tried that. All that it did was make me schizophrenic, made me deny the reality of how I got here to be who I am. My past is who I am, and I don't need to focus on it. Just like, I don't try to walk every day, or I don't try to learn my times tables every day. Once you've received the message, you hang up the phone, right? And yet I can walk, and I do it every day, and I don't deny that I can walk or pretend that I can't walk or not focus on walking. I am built. We are all built on what happened yesterday, who we were yesterday. And so not thinking about your past is the silliest thing. Made me schizophrenic, made me lose touch with reality, made me not understand who I was, and made me not be able to go forward because I was denying my foundations instead of trying to, I don't know, what have I done now? I suppose I have dug up the bits of my foundation that were desperately weak and dangerous and in danger of me falling through the concrete into the pit below, and I have rebuilt the foundation, and that is something I wish that I had been able to do 20 years ago, instead of just move on dear, have this pill, everything will be fine, here we go, we're just going through into the future, it's all going to be great. No, it's not going to be great. It's like I always say, if you meet somebody who's in a wheelchair, you don't say to them, why are you so lazy sitting in that wheelchair? No wonder your legs have atrophied if you're not walking and using them. Jump up, go for a walk, you'll be fine. I heard Joe Rogan do it to Jordan Peterson's daughter. He was saying, oh yeah, no, if he's sick, he needs to exercise. And she said, I can't remember her name, Michaela said, he's so ill, he can't even get out of bed, he can't even do anything. He said, what do you mean he can't get out of bed? Of course he can get out of bed, he goes to the bathroom, doesn't he? Then let him exercise on the way to the bathroom. I was like, oh, mentally healthy people, they have no idea. Jump up out of that walking chair. Right. Okay. So, I'm thinking that, wow, I really needed to talk, didn't I? I really needed to just blab on a bit. Okay, well, I might just put this video up just as a vent, right? Just as a bit of a... because I do feel that it's kind of on top of me, all these emotions and coping with Carly's stuff. I'm pleased that I'm doing it. I'm pleased that I'm coping with the stuff. I'm pleased that I haven't cried that much. I've cried enough. And I'm really pleased that I've made some space in the storage container, and I'm looking forward to getting rid of the beds and the desks and the things out of the rest of the shed. And hopefully, once I've done that, I will make a little section which I will sort of partition off in the shed somewhere for myself to work. And I'm thinking that I might start welding together some frames, because I have a new idea in my head on how to make an Organoscape. I was thinking if I weld together, yeah, it's not going to work, hey. Well, I was thinking if I welded together a hollow frame, then I could put the pipes for the irrigation system inside the hollow frame. But how heavy is that going to be? Yeah, maybe that's why I was using plastic and not welding and trying to make something sturdy. Anyway, I have some thoughts now on how I want to do the irrigation system. So if I can get rid of all this stuff and build the frame for the Organoscapes, so that I can start experimenting with irrigation. The major problem that I had with the irrigation system, for you who don't know what Organoscapes are, they are pictures that you hang on your wall made out of mosses and ferns. So it's a self-watering picture. I mean, what would be wonderful, and I did have somebody once who wanted to commission me to put in a whole wall, a whole feature wall in his home. But I think that what is more practical are small patches, small pictures basically, but a picture made out of plants, ferns and mosses. So a vertical garden, basically, a tiny little piece of a vertical garden. And so that's an Organoscape, and it's something that I was working on when I was at university 10 years ago. And the major issue with them is that the dripper valves get clogged with not moss, algae. Okay, so yeah, I haven't done a check-in today, guys. I've done a waffle. I've done a whole nother one of my waffle talks, and that's fine. I need to talk, and I talked, and I'm happy that I talked to myself. This is how it should be. And I am now in Katikati, and going to get the car serviced. While I'm here, I'll phone and I'll order the medicine, and then I'll get the medicine, then I will go home and possibly do some more research, do some more AI research. That was the place that I was meant to go in. I'll have to pop round here. Irritating. And I don't want to cut in front of this guy because there's a gap behind him. Alright, we'll just go through here. Alright, and go home. Have a look at some more of the Steal the Singularity stuff. And try and figure out how to store it, because I've done some research, some really great research, got some good, really pleased with some of the information I've got. Also got some amazingly wonderful hallucinations. Wonderful hallucinations, which sadly I will have to cut out, but maybe I can make a book of the hallucinations that I got when I was making my book, the outtakes. Okay. Yeah, so I'm not going to have a relaxing day today, exactly, because I am busy and doing stuff, but I'm not going to really have a productive day. However, there will be this video, and I will put this video up, and there was the meditation video. So a bit of content, and thanks for listening. Thank you for being there and allowing me to talk to myself. It's a thing we do. It's called an exhibitionist the other day for doing it. So us exhibitionists who need to talk. Okay, have a wonderful, wonderful day, and hopefully tomorrow it'll be less of a rant and more of a check-in. Okay, see you.